Prime Minister Mark Carney's cabinet, slashed to 28 ministers and 10 secretaries from Trudeau's bloated 39 at the time of his scandal-ridden exit, still reeks of recycled Liberal elites, so let's dig in. Newly anointed Prime Minister Mark Carney swore in his new cabinet earlier this week. Well, he kept all of the worst in terms of a Trudeau government 2.0. Something that stood out to me was his newly unveiled addition to the existing Ministry of Procurement and Public Service, which is the addition of the word transformation. Now, take a look at this front row here from the swearing-in ceremony. Faces that many Canadians are likely familiar with, and not necessarily in a good way. We're talking about Trudeau loyalists who've clung to power despite repeated controversies, like Anita Anand, for instance, who spearheaded the ongoing financial and health implications resulting from the secretive COVID-19 vaccine contracts signed by her as the former procurement minister. Not only was her husband a director of Life Labs who received nearly $70 million in government COVID contracts, but he beat out 18 competitors to secure the funds. Then there's pandemic Patty Hajdu, former Minister of Health, who was taking VIP flights and jet setting while terrorizing Canadians out of supposed non-essential travel. We can't forget climate criminal and eco-radical Stephen Guilbeault, or the fidgety House of Commons toenail picker Chrystia Freeland, who's often seen nervously twitching. Yes, she was Trudeau's finance minister who told Canadians to cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions when they were lining up in record numbers at food banks.
It's only $13.99 a month that we're saving, but every little bit helps.
So I'd say it's pretty warranted that ex-users are now calling these front row picks out for being a recycled clown car of the Liberal elite, which makes Carney's announcement from March, after he was first sworn in as Prime Minister, in introducing the idea of a leaner, more efficient government, even more laughable.
Canada's new government is focused on the things that matter most to Canadians: growing more higher-paying jobs, improving affordability, and making Canada more secure. Canada's new government will be action-oriented, driven by a smaller but highly experienced team made to meet the moment we are in. Our leaner cabinet will focus on two priorities in particular. First, protecting Canadian workers and their families in the face of unjustified foreign trade actions. And second, growing this great country by putting more money in Canadians' pockets, by ensuring that government spends less so Canada can invest more, by building millions of homes, by making Canada a superpower in both conventional and clean energies.
Central to Carney's pledge for a leaner, more efficient government is the new Department of Government Transformation, led by Minister Joel Lightbound, which focuses on economic reform and streamlining public services. Carney insists that his smaller, more focused cabinet will drive meaningful change, but I, for one, am not sold.
Canadians also sent a clear message that their cost of living must come down and that our communities must be safe. The swearing-in of this cabinet is amongst the fastest following an election, and the beginning of the new parliament will be one of the most rapid following an election in Canadian history. We are starting as we aim to go on. Our government will deliver its mandate for change with urgency and determination. We're going to deliver that mandate with a new team, purpose-built for this hinge moment in Canada's history. This cabinet is smaller and more focused than those of previous governments. It will operate with a commitment to true cabinet government, with everyone expected and empowered to show leadership, to bring new ideas, to have a clear focus, and to take decisive actions to accomplish their work. In a return to more traditional cabinet government, Our cabinet will be supported by 10 secretaries of state who will lead on key priorities within their ministers' portfolios.
This all does sound a bit familiar, though, and it sort of has a whiff of Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE, run by none other than Elon Musk. So is Carney's proposal just Canada's version of a pale imitation? Let's tear into it, compare, and call out the fluff, because transformation sounds basically like an empty buzzword. First of all, Canada's government of transformation will be led, like I mentioned, by Liberal MP Joel Lightbound, who's been handed this feel-good portfolio. Carney says it's about streamlining Ottawa, cutting red tape, and modernizing services, which I guess sounds nice in theory, but let's get real. A portfolio called government transformation is almost guaranteed to be superficial posturing. It's a lot of buzz and doesn't seem like any real substance. Lightbound's job sounds like he'll probably push digital tools, maybe sprinkle in some AI, and make bureaucracy look sexier.
Internal trade has become sexy.
But here's the problem. The Liberals love their bloated government. It's their lifeblood at this point. Expect reports, consultants, and maybe a new app nobody uses. Remember the infamous ArriveCan, the government-mandated travel app that enforced vaccine passports and tracked Canadians' every move? Will Lightbound's transformation break free from this cycle of wasteful, intrusive overreach that we've come to know and expect from the Liberals? Doubtful. Contrast this with DOGE and notice the E because it stands for efficiency, a practical, measurable outcome that Musk immediately got down to work to do. He slashed federal spending, gutted agencies, and made government leaner than a Starlink satellite to the tune of $170 billion, yes, that's with a B, billion dollars. There's been some dispute about this amount and its accuracy, but I'd say that even $1 billion saved is better than not, especially if it means more resources for things like innovation, infrastructure, or simply easing the burden on taxpayers who are certainly feeling the heat these days. Even if that real number is lower, the intent is clear. While DOGE is a wrecking ball coming in hot, whether you approve of it or not, the action is already happening, and yet Carney's Liberals appear to be more about empty words, playing it safe, dressing up Lightbound's portfolio to kind of look like DOGE, but without the guts. Transformation is fuzzy, designed to sound progressive without upsetting the Liberal base. They're not slashing jobs or programs. No, that would mean tossing their cronies and insiders off the taxpayer-funded gravy train. While Trump and Musk are all in on disruption, it shows that DOGE's efficiency isn't just a word, it's a promise to shrink the state. And when we're not getting more bang for our buck, taxpayers want government on a diet. So Carney can mimic DOGE's vibe all day long, but I suspect he lacks the spine to truly challenge Ottawa's bloat. Carney's team will push optics they have this whole time. Think flashy talk and green initiatives, while keeping the machine humming in the background. While Carney's political class is busy getting down to, well, polite posturing, Carney's transformation feels like a timid rebrand, leaving Canadian taxpayers hungry for actual change. And maybe Carney just likes the word transformation. It sounds visionary and masks the same old Liberal playbook of empty promises and insider deals. After all, he used it to describe President Trump during their recent Oval Office meeting, where he appeared less like a confident leader and more like an awestruck schoolboy gazing up at a mentor.
Thank you for your hospitality and above all for your leadership. You're a transformational president, the focus on the economy with a relentless focus on the American worker, securing your borders, ending the scourge of fentanyl and other opioids, and securing the world.
But we can't forget Carney's past dealings, from photos of him cozying up to sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein's accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell, to securing a $250 million loan from the People's Bank of China and praising the People's Republic of China's ambitious regime. Whose interests does Carney really serve? For Canadians wary of radical net zero agendas and cozying up to Chinese tycoons and communist regimes, it's clear the future demands leaders who put Canada first, not globalist pawns beholden to foreign powers. For Rebel News, I'm Tamara Ugolini. If you agree that the bureaucracy needs to be slashed, then please support this kind of journalism and sign our petition at slashthebureaucracy.com. That's slashthebureaucracy.com.